This is the Justicefighter podcast. Justicefighter podcast. With attorney Gerald Griggs. Attorney G. Where we have conversations on social justice, civil rights, and political news that affects us all. Let attorney Griggs put you on game. Only on the Justicefighter podcast, y'all.
And so the numbers continue to stream in. But one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys was a number that was released to me, and also some numbers that were reported on CNN earlier today. So in total, in the United States, we have tested 685,000 people, and there are currently 123,781 confirmed cases. So that's about 18% of the people that are being tested now have the virus. So if we extrapolate that out, it's running about 18 to 20%. So if we keep going out with the American population, we're talking about a large number of people that will be, or 1 in 12 people will be infected by this virus. And then you still have between a 1 to 3% mortality rate. So I'm not trying to alarm people seriously, but I'm trying to give you the numbers. So if we run that out, and again, I'm an attorney, so I'm not the best at math, but we're talking about between 1 and 5. So we're talking about 66 million people and between 2 to 3 million deaths. And to put that in perspective, in the Civil War, there were only 600,000 deaths. So we really got to look at this for what it is. It's a global pandemic. It's a national pandemic, and it's clearly a Georgia pandemic. So let's go through the Georgia numbers a little bit deeper. Again, 2,651 cases, 666 people are hospitalized, and there are 80 deaths. Let's go through the counties. Fulton County has the most cases with 407 and 12 deaths. DeKalb County has 272 cases and 3 deaths. Dougherty County has 239 cases and 17 deaths. And we're getting to some discrepancy because reports on the ground in Dougherty County have it more than 17 deaths. They're reporting, from people I know on the ground who are in this profession, are reporting 19 deaths. But, I'm going to go with the Department of Public Health's numbers. Cobb County, 222 cases and 9 deaths. Gwinnett County, 143 cases and 1 death. Bartow, 119. That's gone up in Bartow. They've cracked 100 now. 119 cases and 1 death. Carroll County, 64 cases, no deaths. Clayton County, 59 cases, 1 death. Cherokee County, 56 cases, 1 death. Henry County, 55 cases and 1 death. Lee County, 43 cases and 6 deaths. Douglas County, 37 cases and 1 death. Clark County, 35 cases, 2 deaths. Hall County, 32 cases and 0 deaths. Floyd County, 27 cases and 2 deaths. Fayette County, 26 cases and 3 deaths. Forsyth County, 25 cases and 1 death. Paulding County, 23 cases and 0 deaths. Coweta County, 22 cases and 2 deaths. Lowndes County, 20 cases and 1 death. Rockdale, 18 and 1 death. Newton County, 17 and no deaths. Early County, 16 cases and 1 death. Chatham County, 15 cases, 0 deaths. Houston County, 15 cases, 1 death. Mitchell County, 15 cases, 0 deaths. Sumter County, 15 cases, 1 death. Gordon County, 14 cases, 1 death. Bibb County is at 13 cases, 0 deaths. Tift County, 13 cases, 0 deaths. Columbia County, 12 cases, 0 deaths. Richmond County, 12 cases, 0 deaths. Spalding County, 12 cases, 0 deaths. Oconee County, 11 cases, 0 deaths. Polk County, 10 cases, 0 deaths. Terrell County, 10 cases, 2 deaths. Worth County, 10 cases, 1 death. And now we're under the 10 count, so we're just going to go through the counties with deaths. Troup County has 9 cases, 1 death. Barrow County has 7 cases, 1 death. Peach County, 6 cases, 1 death. Pickens County, 5 cases, 1 death. And Baker County, 1 case, 1 death. Horry County, 1 case, 1 death. And there are 262 cases that they cannot assign to a county and 2 deaths. And they have reported a number of tests. So the number of tests now is at 10,666 from commercial labs and 1,895 from the Georgia Public Health Laboratory. So we're over 12,000 tests at this point in Georgia. And we are still at about a 20% rate for Georgia, with a little bit under 20% because we have 2,651 cases. And again, the mortality rate is still at 3% and holding steady in Georgia with the 3% mortality rate. So we really need to understand this, that this is a statewide issue. It's a statewide epidemic, statewide pandemic. It's affecting 110 of the 159 counties in Georgia, and we still don't have shelter in place order from the governor. There were some interesting numbers as the charts are now being released for all the states so we can see how Georgia ranks. So let me pull that chart up. So New York has the most active cases with 53,455 cases, and that's up 62 cases from yesterday. They have 49,846 active cases. So New York's number one, followed by New Jersey, which has 11,124 cases, and 10,000 of them are active. So you got New York, New Jersey, California, Michigan, Washington, Massachusetts, Florida, Illinois, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, and then Georgia. So we're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're number 11 in the country for active coronavirus cases. And we of those active cases, New York has the most deaths with 883. Then New Jersey has 140. Then California has 121. And we currently have 80. So Michigan has 111. Washington has 189. And then Louisiana has 137. And then we're there. So we are number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're number 7 in the country for deaths for coronavirus. But again, the governor still has not ordered a shelter in place, and we are still on the beginning of the curve. And what do you have to understand about the test? And many people have brought this to my attention, and many experts have brought this to my attention. It takes between 5 to 7 days to get the test results. So we're at least 5 to 7 days behind where we actually are. And we won't get the information until they start more testing. And again, the guidelines for the testing is you have to have symptoms and a doctor referral and be hospitalized. So when you understand that we are not testing a majority of the population who potentially could be asymptomatic, we are dealing with a real pandemic. And I understand people want to get back to regular life and people want to, they're getting cabin fever, but this is real and it's only going to get worse. And, our president was talking about opening back up by Easter. That's not going to happen. That's just not about to happen because the right steps were not taken in the beginning to prepare for this. The right steps are still not being taken to provide the personal protective equipment, the ventilators, the masks, the gloves for our healthcare workers. So imagine the rest of the country. And then we're getting more information that this virus can be airborne and live for at least 3 hours. So if you're outside without a mask, you might want to consider putting on a mask because you potentially could walk through a cloud of cough and get the virus. So we need to educate ourselves on all these platforms. I know a lot of people at church right now, so hopefully you will tag them in this post after they get home from church or get home from watching church. Hopefully you're watching church on the live stream and not at church. But if you are at church, please practice social distancing 6 feet apart so you don't have to deal with that. But again, the virus is airborne. So if people are coughing and, touching surfaces and they're not being sanitized, you could potentially get this virus. And as we look at the numbers coming back from China and how they went into a almost 2.5 month lockdown, quarantine in place, we're heading in that direction. And so this is not a rural versus urban. This is not red state versus blue state. This is a United States because, again, the states I just named, we got New York, blue state, New Jersey, blue state, California, blue state, Michigan, that's a red state right now, Washington, blue state, Massachusetts, blue state, Florida, that's super red, Louisiana, super red, Illinois is blue state, Georgia is red, Texas is magenta, Colorado is blue, Connecticut is blue, Tennessee is red. Ohio is red. Indiana's red. I mean, it's not about partisan. This is about getting the information out. Now the news is finally reporting the numbers we've been talking about for the last 11 minutes. But you need to know these numbers, and you need to get familiar with the Georgia Department of Public Health's website. It's dph.georgia.
This is the Justicefighter podcast. Justicefighter podcast. With attorney Gerald Griggs. Attorney G. Where we have conversations on social justice, civil rights, and political news that affects us all. Let attorney Griggs put you on game. Only on the Justicefighter podcast, y'all.